Hi everyone. Today I wanted to do a video covering something I haven't seen before on YouTube, which is a side-by-side comparison of the Masterpiuma P3 series and the new P5 series. There's been a lot of videos of the P5 since it was launched, but haven't seen anybody really go through the differences. So I wanted to do that for you today. I have on the bottom here a P3 in the 75 centimeter size, and at the top the brand new P5 in the 63 centimeter size that I just received the other day from Tile ProSource. I want to give a shout out to them. The shipping department there put a layer of armor on top of the original Montolit box, unlike anything I've ever seen before. It was somebody put some love into this thing, and it definitely could have withstood getting run over by the UPS truck. And the cutter was a great price from them too, so just wanted to mention that. There's no sponsorship or anything from them. I was just really impressed with their service, and I got it in 2 days after I ordered it too, so that was also very nice. So with that out of the way, let's go through a couple things. One thing that I noticed when I started seeing videos of the P5 was that Montolit got rid of all of the blue accents on their cutters. And obviously that makes no difference for the performance whatsoever, but I just think it's kind of amusing because most of you know that their main competitor Sigma uses blue as their primary color. Now it is a lighter blue, but I feel like Montolit, marketing department made a effort there to eliminate any blue on their cutters and just go with red as their secondary color to the gray. And I think they're, they want to give the impression that their cutters are the Ferrari of cutters. I don't think the red is a coincidence in any way. The red is a prideful color. So all the blue accents are gone, and everything that's not gray or silver on the new ones is just red now. I kind of like the blue accents, but again, it doesn't make a difference. It just kind of looks cool. But, at the end of the day, they both cut great. So, if you're getting a P3 because the prices are slightly lower, you're going to have a couple little annoying things that you might have to deal with, but it's still an amazing cutter. Especially if you can get a used one from a geek like me that just always has to have the hot new thing. I actually am selling the 75 P3 right now. I only got the P5 because like I said, I'm a tool junkie, and there's a couple little upgrades on it that I thought I would really, enjoy on the job site. And then the other reason is I recently got that big sucker from Amazon. That's a 48-inch Tyler brand, and it's got 8 sprung tables on it. Super heavy duty center bar, really powerful handle. That thing cuts 48-inch porcelain like a dream, and that can also help me out for the jobs where a customer has this 36-inch planks. So that one handles 48, and it does it quite well for $300. So, and then this one has a 29-inch capacity, and I thought to myself, well, for most of my jobs where I'm not dealing with anything bigger than 24, why not get the new P5 in the 24-inch size? And that way it's just a little easier to get in and out of the vehicle. And it's, a little less of a tripping hazard on the job site if I have it on the floor. So that's why I did it. And, it's got a couple cool upgrades that make it a little easier to live with. So one thing that I really like is the handle for the measuring guide. So the P3 has this twisty thing here, and obviously to loosen it considerably, you have to turn it, pull it up, go back and forth. It's it's just a little fiddly. So on the P5 they have a new knob that sits up much higher. And it's just easier to reach. It's easier to turn. If you want to loosen it a lot, just to move the bar quickly, it's just easier to deal with. The one thing about it is it does stick up considerably higher. So when you're putting the cutter in your vehicle, if something else falls on it, if you hit it with your boot on the job site, you could break it because it does protrude out. But it's available for like, if you break one, I think Tile ProSource said it's like $13 or something like that. So it's not expensive to replace. You could even just use a regular bolt in a pinch from any hardware store if you had to. But it's just easier to deal with. So I like that. The other nice thing about the cutter or the measuring bar is on the P5, the extension on the left side has a nice firm hinge to it versus on the P3 where, you know, it's just got this little locking knob and it's kind of flimsy, flops around a little bit. But the important thing that they did was, you can see there's no support here. So you're on a job site and you accidentally step on that, you can snap it right off. And I know from talking to somebody at a local tile shop that also sells these, but at a much higher price than what I got mine for, they did say that, you know, that's happened to a couple installers that they deal with where they had to reorder that part because they caught it with their foot and it broke. So on the P5, Montolit, not only did they make this a much stronger piece of material, but it's got this foot on here. You step on that, it hits the floor and it won't break. Kind of brilliant, actually. The other great thing about the new measuring bar is they finally took off all of the Montolit logos that are in the way of the measuring scale. So you can see here, Montolit Masterpiuma, right there between 5 and 7 inches. And you can see on mine, I had to mark 6.5 and 5.5 because they were impossible to see. So really happy to see that change made. I mean, a little bit less branding is not a bad thing, especially on something that important where you need to see those measurements at a glance all the time. Another thing that's interesting about these is on the P5 series. Now, again, this cutter cuts amazingly and it's not even broken in. I've only done a couple test cuts. So, you know, I'm willing to believe what Montolit tells me about this cutter being more powerful than the P3 for thicker porcelain. I tried some, I don't have a scrap here, but I have some leftover pieces of very, very thick, very hard gray porcelain that's Italian, and they both cut it well, but the P5 definitely does seem to cut it a little more easily. Again, that could be because there's a brand new cutting wheel on this one, and the one on the P3 has been used quite a bit. That could have something to do with it. But they say it's more powerful. But an interesting thing is, they reduced the thickness of the center bar by quite a bit. So here you have the center bar on the P5. And look at how much thicker it is on the P3s. I mean, it's significant. There's a little bit more side-to-side deflection on the P5 if you're playing with it. I mean, that's not something that you really think about when you're cutting tile, but if you have them side by side and you push them with your hands, the center bar, the breaker bar on the P5 is definitely a little more flexible laterally, but I can't see how that's going to make a difference with the cutting. You know, they say all the magic is in the handle, so, you know, that seems to be true in my experience so far with the new one. But, you know, again, it's great either way. So they also put a cool feature on here where the handle has markers. So if you're making your score with your hand on the far end, that's the most powerful. Put your hand in the middle, and that's kind of a medium setting. And if you're just cutting like fragile ceramics, like, you know, your typical junky subway tile, you can just hold the handle right there on the forward end, and that applies less pressure. And yeah, it's just nice to have. Well, interesting thing here though is On the P3s, they had the Top Gun logo on there. It's a little hard to see, and that's gone now. And it just kind of makes me laugh because I have a feeling that some cease and desist letters were probably sent to Italy by, you know, there's the Top Gun movie franchise, and then also IWC Watches has a trademark for Top Gun for a series of their pilot watches. So I think there were some people that were a little ticked off at Montolit, and they had to take the Top Gun branding off their handle. So again, just kind of, you know, I'm just interested in that kind of stuff. Another funny thing is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but every time you see a Montolit promotional video, these sprung plates are always polished. And it's just funny because they do that for all their promotional videos, and I think they send out some sample cutters to some influencers, and the tables are always high polished, and they do not come like that. So I was already aware of that, but if you're not, I just wanted to let you know so you're not disappointed when you open the box. They don't polish them. There's no reason for it to be polished. It just looks good on video, so that's why they do it for the ones that, you know, their promo people do. But yeah, they don't come like that, so don't be surprised. Another big difference with the P5 is Montolit now has, I guess I don't know if they're machined or they're cast or whatever, but they have thick aluminum support arms on these now. On the P3 series, they had these flimsy wire rod things. Frankly, they don't work very well. They sit too low to really be effective, and they're really no better than using a crushed up water bottle, which is what a lot of people do. You just take a plastic water bottle from, you know, the convenience store, finish it up, crush it down a little bit, put it under the tile, and it works better than that thing does. So on my 63 centimeter P5, there are no support rods. However, what they did for this size was they made the table wider. So you can see the extra wings here. So the table width on the 63 is about, I think 3 inches wide. It's 3 inches wider, I believe. I measured it the other day and I can't remember, but you get 3 inches of extra width on the 63. But if you want to, they have a kit available that you can buy that has two plates where the extra wing isn't on there. So you put the narrower plates on, and the kit comes with 2 support arms that you can install. And I believe Tile ProSource said that it was $90 or $100. So if you really like the 63 centimeter size, but you want the support arms, you can spend the extra $100 or so and get the arm kit, which comes with the narrower plates. And you know, you can, if you ever sell the thing, you can just put the original plates back on and keep the arms, because they will work on any of the P5 series platforms. I think that's about it. So hope that was helpful, and take care.